Alrighty, TGIM. It's Monday. Thank goodness it's Monday. Glad it's here. Always glad to see a Friday come, and always glad to see a Monday come. So I can't complain. What we got going on? As you can see there on J4X, we got the dollar against the Swiss. It is just a tad down. Just almost a little unchanged, minus by a very little. You can see we went into a daily buy. You can see it on the fact check spreadsheet at line 21. It went into a daily buy last, on Friday, but obviously we are in a weekly sell. So again, traders, we can't take the trade because it's in a weekly sell. And you can see right there, the 21. So we're seeing a little weakness, nothing major. That and we kind of measure the dollar. Good feel for the dollar is watching the Swiss against the dollar, or the dollar against the Swiss, either way you want to describe it. And the end result is that it's a real good indication of the direction things are going. And so as long as the Swiss, let's show you on the Chicago Quant, as long as we're in that weekly buy and we're holding up very well in here, chances are the dollar is going to be at least firm. Any little correction going on is just a little correction. And that's what the flavor we're seeing here with the start of the week here. And then at the same time, let's check out some of the bigger, or what they call not bigger, but major. They consider this a major currency pair. There's like a half a dozen of them that are considered major currency pairs, and then after that, they're all referred to as like exotic, or minor currency pairs. And the exotics trade very well. We look at them all the time around here now because ever since quantitative easing back 11 years ago, it's been fantastic. Ever since 2008. So, oh wait a minute, it's not 11 years. It's 13 years now. All right, so let's take a look at the euro. You can see the euro there moving down, making a challenge here, trying to get into the sell. And you can see we are in a weekly sell, so you couldn't take any, like the long that we had on Thursday. You can't really take it. All it tells you is that there's strength coming in. And the day before, it gave you a good warning that there was strength coming in. So you would literally want to cover on that more than even worrying about that. I mean, just the idea as traders is that to take a profit. That's the whole key to the game in trading. Now let's look at it on J4X. Right there. I'm sure the white line is breaking. No, look at that. It's still up. Interesting. Whereas on our Chicago Quant, it is breaking down. I'm sure this will take just a couple more hours, and maybe by the end of the day, it'll start to break down. Starting to curve. That's pretty cool. But yeah, there's pressure on the product. Not major, but again, we are looking at a weekly sell now for 3 full weeks. So ever since this area in here, we've been in a weekly sell, and it's kind of went down for a couple weeks, and now it's going sideways. I guess it's the best way to describe it. Now let's take a look at cable, our little darling, the cable. Now we can see the same thing going on in there. This has broken below. Let me just give it a refresh, but that has broken below. Let's see, we're just do a Control R. There we are. And at the same time, you can see the weekly is actually trying to break down, which is interesting because we've been in a long buy in that thing all the way back since October. So you can see on the fact check Excel spreadsheet, that is line 13. We're 22 weeks in a weekly buy. We were 3 days in a daily buy in our math also at the same time. Whereas you could be long from here, and obviously winner, chicken dinner. And that's where we're at in this product. Now, I'm a little curious to see how this goes, how it slips in and out of the weekly sell, or do we get a little action out of it? Like the last time it went into a weekly sell, it lasted for about 5 weeks. And where's the price at? Let's give it a spin there. There we are. And so you can see we topped out a little bit in there, just like we have done here. Only difference is that this jumped into a weekly sell, whereas this fought it very hard. So I'm not totally convinced we're going to see much out of this. We'll see if they turn it up by the end of the week. It'll be definitely something to watch, especially for the cable traders. That's something definitely to watch. And let's just see real quick on J4X where it's hiding. Let's see how it looks there. Right there. Let's see if the white line is, yeah, see it's starting to curve over too. And this is actually heading down now. Now we wanted to break this dotted line to match it up to what we're seeing right there, the 0 line. There we are. You see it now much clearer. And we'll see how that plays out by the end of the week. Max 19, how you doing? Brain bow. Brain bow. What's brain bow? But how are you doing? Thank goodness it's Monday, eh? Right back in the saddle again, aren't we? Trading along. Trading. Watch them trade. Yes, indeed. So, brain bow, is that a stock or something, or what is that? Can we look up something for you? Just give a yell when you see it. When you figure it out, we'll go hunt for it. And then, let's see, we jump over to Turkish lira from here, and I'll just keep on running through my groups. And in the moment you figure that you want to see something, because I don't know what brain bow is, and, we'll hunt down something. Oh, wait a minute. You're saying the brain down. Yeah, it's fun to look at other products. I go through the rhythm every day, but I'm always hoping that someone's going to interfere, jump in and say, hey, let's look at, this, or let's look at that. I get I get a big kick out of that, especially being able to do it live in front of you, which is really fantastic, because then, the math is being totally challenged 100%. It's kind of neat. As I take a bite of the apple. Okay. There's the Turkish lira, and it looks like it's still fighting to stay into a buy for the daily. And you can see here we've been in where's that? That's line 17? Yeah. We're 3 weeks now in a weekly buy, going for fourth now. So we'll see how that rolls along. BZ! What's happening, BZ? We're just kind of enjoying the Monday morning with some action here. Little action, but action. Traders, remember, Wednesday, our Fed chairman, Powell, will be speaking. So you know what that means. It'd be like 2.5 weeks ago where it got crazy, So just a heads up, going into Tuesday night, try to be a little bit more flatter, just to be ready for whatever the Fed chair says, If there's anything can come out of his mouth. Anything. I would assume he'll be, what's the best way to describe it? I would assume he will be congenial. He'll be trying to tell us how he's not going to raise rates and he's not worried about inflation. He's going to be, everybody's watching for that. I'm sure he's going to say it again, which will make everybody happy, Oh, good. No inflation. No interest rate increases. And as you can, here, let's just take a look at that since I'm on that little tirade there. Let's go over to the 10-year. Where's it at? There's the 10-year. And you can see it's in a sell for a couple of days. And let's give it a refresh. I'll have to do it by the control panel. Control R, there we are. Yeah, you can see it's, just pressing down. Nothing major. We're in a weekly sell. Same thing going on in the 30-year. Right there. Same game. Pressure down. The whole bit. It just, I saw the last couple hours, like an hour and a half ago, I saw the 10-year bond yielding. In other words, you get an interest rate out of it. Someone actually pays you to buy it. Almost 1.62. It was 1.617. So almost 1.62 overall. And the same thing with the 30-year. The 30-year was yielding, I think it was it 239 maybe? I think that's what it was, 239 or 237. Probably 239. And so in other words, when the price of the bond goes down, the interest rate is going up at the same time, like that. And that's where we're at. All right. Where did we leave off? Turkish lira, right? And then I thought about the bonds. So let's jump over to, let's see, back to the currencies. Unless anybody wants to see anything, BZ or 19, you guys want to see anything? Just put it up on the chat line. We'll go look at it. And then, let's see, we usually go to the Canadian, that's what it is, and then we work our way over to the energy sector. So there's the Canadian. You can see it's been in daily sell for a few days here now, still, which makes that stronger against the dollar. As it's going down against the dollar, Canadians are getting more buying power. And at the same time, we've been in a weekly sell since here, and you can see it's kind of zigzagged its way around, and now we're finally taking out some of the lows here the last couple of days. Let's see, recent weakening of the dollar against major pairs gives an impression that the Fed was printing. Oh man, they're printing like never, never before. Just incredible. What do you think will change on Wednesday? I don't. I think the market is always like my math. The market is always looking for a confirmation that they're on the right path, just like our math is always giving you a confirmation that we're on a specific path, be it down or up or neutral, So I think overall the market is looking for, just confidence that nothing has changed policy-wise. That's what it really comes down to. And they even have buzzwords like, there'll be a buzzword or two everybody's waiting for that they expect to hear from him, and he'll hear that they expect to say it, and then he'll say it, as long as he's going to be accommodating. And so that's how that works out. I understand between the ECB, the European Central Bank, and the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Federal Reserve, they're printing about $230 billion a month. So you are right, BZ. They're printing like it's like it's partying like it's 1999. They're partying. That's what they are. And what they do is they lend that money more to the banks than they lend it to anybody else. They don't exactly they do two things. One is they go and buy bonds, or they lend enough money to the banks that they can go buy the bonds. One or the other. That's the name of the game. And that's how that game is played over and over and over again. So, does that make sense to you? All right. And now let's take a look at the other currency pair that we pay attention to that kind of correlates always with the energy market. In this case here, it's the NASCAD. And you can see here we've been in a sell for a bunch of days, and it's been going down, and we're in a weekly sell. So we would assume now, as we drift from there over to the oil market, we would expect that the oil would be, sideways down, or something like that. Let's see what it's doing. Yeah, see, it's just sideways for the last bunch of days with all these things moving sideways to down. Now, Canadians saying it's going to be strong, and NASCAD is saying it's going to be weak. So it's kind of neutral, and that makes sense. And at the same time, you can see here, it settled on Friday at 65.61, and it's trading right now at 65.13. So you're only talking about 37 cents. It's not, rocketing all over the place. Hey, Robin. Hello to you too. And that is the magic of the crude oil. Let's just give it a refresh. And that does seem like the action that's going on there. Now, what we do is we take a look at like natural gas. You can see pressures down on that, which is that time of the year anyway. And then we're doing robo lately, so let's take a look at May gas oil for the automobiles, gasoline basically. Let's give that a refresh. You can see it's off a little bit. It was up at one point. You can see here it closed on Friday at 213.48. The high today is 215.48. So it was up like a couple cents. And right now it's trading, where is it trading at? 212.45. So it's about a cent off now. And it was 2 cents up and now 1 cent down, Hey 44, how you doing? What's that? Hey, you're. It means the sky might be falling. Yeah, I hear you. What? I must have missed something there, but yeah, that's the marketplace. That's for sure. There's always an opinion out there that the sky is falling, and you know what? When you see so much printing of the currencies, 230 billion dollars between the ECB and the Fed, you gotta wonder, they're doing a good job of keeping the inflation down and keeping it out of the pockets of the general public. But and it's really what it's doing is the more they print, that means that they can lend it out for others to buy the bonds. That's what they're doing to keep it down cheap. Dukascopy analysts are known for these kind of blanket statements. Oh, what's that? The sky's falling? Well, I hear you. I think that anybody who follows fundamentals, which I don't, but anybody that follows the fundamentals has to be, totally distraught, totally freaked out from the action overall. I mean, it's really freaky. You would think that the sky could fall. And you got to imagine, Bitcoin's not trading at like 3,000 anymore. It's trading at what, 57,000 now. On Saturday, it was up to 61,000. You know what I mean? There's good reason for a lot of people to be paranoid. Let's see, market movers I guess that's Friday. DAX might decline. Well, if it doesn't go up, you're right. It'll go down. I think you're totally right about that. I saw it this morning up. Is it down now? Could it be down? Let me take a look and see. Yeah, I saw the DAX up about 50 points at one moment. Let's see where it's at now. Not there. Go like that. There it is. Okay, let's see where the DAX is at. I know the FTSE was up by like 30 points. It was acting very strong. Let's see. No, you won't see what I'm looking at. I'm just going on to another screen. Like our Dow Jones Industrial Average was up like 120 some odd points. Now it's only up 70. The DAX. Let's see, where's it at? There's the. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. So it must be. Where is that? Usually I see the FTSE in that on this page. No, I don't see it today. Now, why don't I see the DAX? Well, I saw the DAX up 50 at one point. I don't know where it's at the moment. If you see it, let me know where you see it. Yeah, I mean not where you see it, but what is it doing? Wait, 44 says nothing. Yeah, what does that statement mean? It's an old floor statement. We used to say that. When someone says on the trading floor, I think this might decline, and if you have no opinion, or if you have an opinion, you could say something like, yeah, well, if it doesn't go up, it goes down. Yeah, in other words, it can decline. What do you think of the Merkel thing? Merkel says she's resigning in September. I thought that was a good reason for the DAX to be strong today, and it was strong. I don't think you ever traded. You have knowledge, no doubt, but no perspective and no application of knowledge. Huh? Okay. Okay. So everybody can have an opinion. There's no problem about that. And so if you think that I never traded, it's fine with me. Let me think. Where am I at? Oh, yeah. So anyway, if it doesn't go up, it'll go down. Yeah, that's what I was saying. No perspective and no application of knowledge. I don't understand that. What does that mean? No perspective. I thought I had a lot of perspective. No application of knowledge. You mean I'm not giving you advice on like what to get long and what to get short? Do that all day long right here. I've told you before. It's in the charts. It's right there. In other words, when we're in a weekly buy, let's go through this again. I think you were supposed to hang out for a description here. Let's see. Let's go to the currencies. Now, see, when we're in a daily sell and a weekly sell, you can be short. Now, it's in a daily sell here, but it doesn't make it into the weekly sell until here. So you can go short. That tells you to be short. And there is the application of knowledge. Right there. There's your application of knowledge. We do that with the lines. We put them there so that you don't have to think too hard. Not you personally, everybody in general. In other words, in this case here, it's telling you that you could buy it at the close here. And what does it do? It closes at, the CAD closed at, we're looking at the CAD now. We're looking at the CAD. It closed at 91.96. And the next day it runs all the way up to 92.37. Okay? So it's a winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now you see a sell signal here. You can't take it because why? We're in a weekly buy. See, the histogram and the white lines are above the zero line. Yeah, it's all right. I see. I am following your webinar, but nothing comes out in the end. Oh well, it's. I always think of my. I think of our math like a painting. You ever go to a museum with a few people and they see something that you don't see, and then you see something they don't see in a picture, in a painting? Well, it's the same thing with our charts. The only difference is that when you're looking at a daily chart here's your daily chart, okay? And you can see a sell signal there. It's telling you not to be long anymore. Now, we're in a weekly buy. And so if you were long from here, which is the weekly buy, all right, and, rode it up high with options or just took your profit, that's fine. But one thing tells you right there, don't be long anymore with the weekly trend, okay? So on a short-term trend from the weekly trend, don't be long. Now you can go shoot and do whatever you want to do. And, when the white line's breaking down, you can try to play the shorts here on a very short-term basis. But we're saying that basically the trend is down, and the trend is down here. And then when it confirms it, then you can be short. And that's about it. That's how it works. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Did you see that? I meant to mention that to you today. Where's the beanies? There's the bean oil. Look at that. Wow, that's on a rampage. So you're in a weekly buy, and you get into a daily buy here. Just widen it out so you can see it all the way. So we're in a weekly buy here. It's in a weekly buy, and you can be long whenever you want in there until it goes into a sell. Now it hasn't gone into a sell. What is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Going on 17 days, it's been in a daily buy. So that's how, what you have to do is you follow the weekly and the daily. Now, when you see a buy trade, okay, depending on how you do it, if you buy the spot, if it's a currency, or if you buy the underlying product, the futures contract, if it's a commodity or if it's a stock, you buy it. Then what you do is only you can tell what your threshold of pain is. I can't tell you. No one can tell you. Only you can tell us. I mean, not us. Tell yourself. So in other words, if you're going to get long and it goes down a little bit, do you have the ability to hold on? Are you not going to let go? Are you going to follow the math? Are you going to bootleg and try to outsmart it? We have no idea. So there's no reason for us to say, oh, go get long for the next 12 hours and buy 40% of your portfolio. It doesn't make any sense for that because I have no idea that, you might be trading with $10,000. You might be trading with $1,000. You might be trading with $10 million. So why would I put my opinion into it? The charts do it right there. The charts tell you when to be long, when to be short, or when to be neutral. Let's see. I hear that. Anyone can do that reading previous charts. Previous? No, these are live. Now tell me where it's going in the next 1 month. Well, give me a product and we'll go give you an opinion. I'll show you what the charts are saying. Give me a product. What product do you want to look at? I'm not too big on speculation. I'm much more on accuracy. We have an 8.5 out of 10 accuracy rate. So this is, I'll show you. Give me a product that you're following, and we'll take a look at it. And then we'll be able to, and if you want a projection for a month, I can give you projection for a week, and then I can confirm at the end of that week if the trend is still on. That's what I am here watching your webinar for trading speculation. That's fine. You can do that. I don't call it speculation. I consider it educated guessing. But it's not, we have a high accuracy rate. But this is a perfect example of how to use the system. And so when it went into a weekly buy, like Robin got us into the oil now, the bean oil. Let's look at the beginning of it, where it went into the weekly buy. It went into the weekly buy here. All right? Went into a daily buy. You could get long it. Now, if you have a desire to trade for a whole month, how are you going to trade that whole month? Are you going to be long the underlying product naked? Are you going to be long it with stops naked? Are you going to be selling calls against it? Are you going to buy call spreads or buy calls? I cannot tell. I cannot give an opinion because there are so many good tools out there to use. And I don't know your level, not you personally. I don't know anybody's level of education in the marketplace on the tools to use. But if you're looking for somebody that says, here, buy this today and come back in 30 days. Well, we don't do that here. We confirm it every week. So in other words, it went into the buy here. The next week it was 1 week it was 2 weeks in a buy. Then it was 3, and it was 4, and so forth. And then they just it confirms the trend. That's all we do is confirm the trend when it starts, and that's how it works. Anyway, I'm not here to argue. No, you're not arguing. I'm not relating to it as an argument. I'm trying to find a way to communicate with you that the marketplace is a very interesting arena. It has a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of different tools. And I have no idea what you're doing and how much capital you're using or how much experience you have. And so it would be wrong for me to go and say, oh yeah, buy this thing, it looks great. Look, I can say this. I mean, you can go back and look at webinar after webinar about me and the cable. Every time we go into a weekly, where's the cable at now? Every time we go into a buy in the cable for the last like 4 years, I'm convinced that it's going back up into these 140 area. When it was 123, I was convinced there. I thought it was oversold, not for fundamentals. I guess, yeah, maybe for more in the fundamental way, is that I thought that the country has greater opportunity than the European Union. So I was very bullish. I thought it was the Europeans that were hurting the currency, not the economics of England. So, we go into a buy here, and we're trading at 130, and I'm saying, well, who knows? We might see the 138 to 140 area. Did we make it there on that one? I don't think so. No. Oh yeah, we did on that one. But I mean, I've done that dozens of times over the years. Every time we go into I'm looking for another weekly buy. Every time we go into a weekly buy, like right there, and it's trading at 120 something, I'm thinking maybe this is the time it'll get on a slow burn up to the 138 to 40 area. And so what we do here is we confirm the trend every week, and we can confirm the weekly trend every week, and we confirm the daily trend every day. And when the two are met together, it's time to be long. And when they're both in a sell, it's more than likely to be out or short. And that's it. But the idea and I have a monthly system, but I just don't use it. I mean, again, that would be even more hairier for the average trader. I mean, how many of you are really using options and binaries and and or underlining products with options. We keep a very high success rate around here for decades. Very high success rate. So doing the webinar, you can see going back in the webinars, we've had a high success rate. We keep our high success rate for decades in the 8.5 out of 10. And it's I can't tell how any individual trader possibly may be trading. They don't tell me. We have a couple people come in here that are option traders. For them, it's a lot easier. They can try to ride out something for 4 or 5 weeks because they're not going to get stopped out. When you buy an option or a binary, you know what your limited risk is, or ETFs exactly. Whereas ETF is like a stock. What's that, Robin? Trade by the numbers, right? I agree. We don't do we don't do the big buy it here and come back in 40 days and it's going to be higher. We have no idea. We just know this week it's got a good chance of being higher, a high percentage chance of 8.5 out of 10 because we know the math is going to keep you there. But if we go into a daily sell, we don't know if it's going to go after the weekly sell from there. I mean, we don't tell the markets what to do. You're asking, this is exactly what you're asking. We don't tell the markets what to do. The markets tell us what they're going to do. And so it's kind of, to me, I've always been unreal. I've been very unreal. I always found it unrealistic when someone says, oh, it went into the buy. It's going up. It's running up now, and for the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something like that. To me, it can change every day. And so that's how the game plays as far as we're concerned. I hope do you see what I'm saying there? 44. There's a pitfall for anybody, any analyst, to say you can get long here for the next 40 days or 60 days or 30 days. That's a pitfall because we don't know. We've learned so much throughout the decades. I myself, I had this fantasy that I was a member of a bunch of different exchanges and trading on the floors. That's my fantasy. And, in that fantasy, I've never seen that successful where someone says, okay, I'm getting long this and I'm going to be long it for, 5-6 weeks. They sometimes bail within one day. In my fantasy, of course, because, you don't think I've ever traded. So, there we go. All right. Where are we at now? Let's go back. Where did we leave off? Were we in the commodities? I think we were doing the energies, right? So I hope I answered your question there. And I know I sound like I'm a trader because I think in my whimsical head that I was. And that is what it is. But if you don't think I was, then it's okay with me. It doesn't bother me any. I know what I know. There we go. All right. The metals. That's where we go from there. We go look at the metals. And let's take a look at silver. And you can see here silver's lifting up, showing some life in it. And you see we're in a daily buy, but we're not in a weekly buy. So it really makes it hard to be long. You can only really play the short side like this one here. Because we're in a sell. You can't play the long. All you can do is cover or, stand to the side because we're in a weekly sell. And it doesn't seem like it has any real life in it at all. And then let's look at gold. And there's gold. Now, that's doing the same thing. It's in a weekly sell for weeks, months. Is it months? Yeah, months. All the way back to, where's that? January. First week of January, it's been in a sell. And it's been trending down like it's supposed to do, or vice versa. The signal gives us a confirmation of its trend is down, and each week it reconfirms it. Let's widen that out like that. Yar. And so it was in the sell, and it still is in the sell on a weekly trend. And each week we see, you see this position here. We know that, if then you see like on the Tuesday it goes into a buy, and we're like, oh, okay, this thing's starting to lift. It's jumped up. What was that, like $25, $30, and then all of a sudden it's like $40, and it hangs out there for a couple of days. But we're in a weekly sell, and the weekly is not changing its trend. Okay, and so we get into a sell, and we're in a weekly sell. We say, oh yeah, get short. Whereas here we were like, no, you don't want to be. You want to be flat. You're not going to be long. Just be flat. And then, the chart tells you now it's time to be short again. And then you get your, come on, you can say it, 44, winner, winner, chicken dinner. And then it, it tries to go back into a buy here. But again, look at the weekly. It's refusing. Then it does it again here. And you can say it. Come on, 44, say it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And now you can see, oh yes, this has been really whacked because of the odd data dysfunctionality of the exchange. And then we've been in a daily buy here, but it's not really going anywhere, but it's trying. It's trying to lift. You can see it's lifting up on a very short-term basis, but it cannot move the weekly. So, there's no way in the world I'm going to say just because of a daily signal that we could be up for the next 30 days. It could happen. But then I would expect to see the weekly get across this zero line and start to move up. Right now, it's barely budging. So I hope everybody out there has learned from that. Thank you, 44, this is what we wanted to do a couple weeks ago, remember? We wanted to look at this a little bit closer on how to read the charts. I was looking for you to come back in so we could do that, and I'm glad you did it today. And I'm not looking at it as a challenge or or your argument. I look at it as a trader talking to another trader. That's all it is. We're just trying to figure out the marketplace and using our quantitative mathematics. And that's how we always trade around here. This is the electronic trading pit. There's always conversations going on. There's always people saying I love it here or I hate it. I used to tell you about this. I got a good example. I've given it to you. I've given it before. In my fantasy, when I thought I was a floor trader, okay, 44, there was a fellow on the floor in my fantasy that his name was Tim Boyd, and he was a specialist. And we gave him the nickname of Rambo, like in the movies. In my fantasy, we gave him a nickname. We called him Rambo because he could shift the position dramatically in a matter of seconds. And he would look at a product. This is in my fantasy when I thought I was a floor trader. He would look at it'd be like making a case like an attorney on the trading floor in the pit. He'd be like, I really like this. It looks good. I want to get long it. I'm going to buy 50,000 shares. He would be talking himself into it, psyching himself up. If it does this and it does that, I'm getting long. And I might be roaming. In my fantasy, I was not always standing in the same trading pit. Robin can tell you about my fantasy of when I fantasized that I was a floor trader. Robin traded in the S&P 500 pit in my fantasy, and I traded in the S&P 500 in my fantasy. But at the same time, I was also trading in the Deutschmarks, and I was trading in the options pit, and I was trading in the British pound pit, and I was over at the euro dollar once in a while. In my fantasy, I was roaming around on the trading floor. So, Rambo, I would be able to look up on the walls on these exchange floors. You can see tapes, and it shows you where things are trading. And I'd see this product trade, and then I would be like, okay, Rambo's in there. And when I got over to that side of the trading floor in my fantasy, I would ask him about that. I said, how'd you do? And I said, I saw it take off. And he would be like, yep, I'm short now. I'm like, wait a minute. You just told me for the last 2 days you're going to get long. He says, yeah, I got long, made some money, and made 10 grand. And then, it turned. And I thought, I'm selling it. And that's why we called him Rambo in my fantasy of being a floor trader. And that's the nature of the marketplace. You don't know when someone's trying to convince themselves or psych themselves. Remember, being proactive like that about making a trade. Um, they're analyzing things, dissecting it, and Rambo would do that all the time. He was funny like that. So anyway, that is that. I hope I've answered all questions. And 44. I'm glad you asked those questions. I think it's important. So I wanted to us. I always like to show the rules, talk about the rules all the time about how to read the charts, because the charts will give you what you want in the end. Matter of fact, Robin used to see the charts, and he used to say to me years ago, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, he used to say stuff like, well, this thing is so far away from the daily buy number, it's probably going down. And I started paying attention to that, and I was like, wow, that's true. And so you never know what you're going to learn from somebody else looking at the mathematics. It's always fascinating to see. It's like I said, it's like going to a museum with some people, with a group of people, and you're talking to somebody about a painting, and you look at it and you go, wow, look at that, isn't that neat? And someone else says, oh, I didn't see that, I'm looking at this in the same painting. And so traders do the same thing. Rambo would do it his way, Robin does it his way, I do it my way, you do it your way. So to me, I never look at it as argument. Who knows, you might say something, you may not realize it, you may say something that makes a lot of sense to me. Whereas I made the funny remark in my fantasy when we were on the trading floors, we used to say that if it doesn't go up, it's going to go down. Or if it's going down, it's going down. And someone would say, it's going down. And it's like, yeah, well, if it's going down, then it's not going up. So that is just the nature of floor traders. And I myself fantasize every day that I was a member of an exchange on a floor. So, you're going to hear those type of things out of my mouth. So anyway, that was fun. I think that was very insightful. And I'm really glad we had a chance to analyze the signals. And that's a real important thing here. Let's take a look at that massive, aggressive beast, the copper. It's been in a weekly buy, and it has run like 60 cents. It's done two back-to-backs. It went into a weekly buy here and went from the 3s to the 360s before it went into a weekly sell. Where's the weekly sell? Right there. Got up to almost 370. And then it sold down. Sold down for a little bit. Nothing major. And then went back into a weekly buy very quickly. And did about another 60 cents up from the 360 to the 440 area, 430 area. There you go. So that's been fascinating. Copper's been very strong. Ooh, what do we got here? What is your method? Daily chart? What indicator? How to read it? Is there an article about this? Oh yeah, you can talk to Robin too, and then you can Robin can show you how to do all that. Robin, here, let me show you this. You can get a hold of Robin. Let me see. And or you can go in there yourself. You don't even need to get a hold of Robin. You can just go in there yourself. I just have to find it again. There we go. And we have the rules about it all, and then you can discuss it here at Dukascopy. Dukascopy gives you a chance to talk to me live every day, which is kind of neat, Well, that's not it. Is that it? No, that's not it. All right, let me try one more place. Maybe there. Nope, that's not it either. Here we go. We're going to get you where you want to be. Now I'm confused. If that's there, is that it? No, I'm doing the wrong one each time. How am I doing the wrong one? There we go. There we go. So, was it Gerard? There we go. Right there. And you can see there's the website. And there's a phone number if you have a desire to talk to Robin. And he'll show you where our rules are, or you can look around it's on the website itself where the rules are of trading. Is it it's like it might be chart gallery, maybe something like that. How to. Yeah, like that. Chart gallery, how to. and it explains the rules right there. Oh, it has all the rules there. And you can look at that and then come back to Dukascopy and we can talk about what we do here each day, looking at currencies and all. And there it is right there. A-okay there? Yes, he is. He's taller, too. All right. Yeah, in my fantasy on the trading floor, I used to wear rubber spikes to be a little bit taller. Um, and so our method is we have a weekly signal, like right here. Are we still looking at bean oil? No, we're looking at copper. There's the weekly signal. It goes into a weekly buy, which means that the histogram is plus, basically, above the zero line. And the green line we follow is to see off the time manifold about how it's how far off it goes, like a standard deviation thing. Where did we get here? So then what we do is when we're in a weekly buy and we get a daily buy, this is a daily chart here. This is a quant chart of the weekly signal without seeing the weekly bars. And in here is the daily chart right here up top. And then here is the daily quant. So this is the daily quant. See, it says day quant right there. This is the week quant right there. And so when it's, when it goes long here, it tells you when you get a buy signal here, you can buy. Matter of fact, when it went weekly and then you had this here, you could get long off of that because it was just a green dot. And you can see it was a winner chicken dinner of, I don't know, like 16, 17 cents over a 2-day period. But we never tell anybody how much they're supposed to make or, when to sell in the sense of opinion-wise. You can't read it? You couldn't read this? Right there? Chicago Quant Technologies. Chicago, the city Chicago, Quant, QUANTECHNOLOGIES.com. I think that YouTube doesn't allow that. So YouTube will give them problems if we do that. And if you want a phone number, 847-254-5589. You can get a hold of Robin that way. And so that's what we do. We follow a weekly trend and a daily trend. And when you get the daily and the weekly are aligned, you join in. And vice versa. When we, if it's a daily, that's it. That's really basically it. And that website shows all the rules. So we can't get it up on the chat line because, like I said, not Dukascopy, what's his name? YouTube will just give us grief or block it. They won't let you get it up there. But how about the words there? You can see that, right? Those big words, Chicago Quant Technologies. And so let's give you an example over in the Forex. Do you trade a particular currency? Do you trade like euros or British pounds or Swiss or Canadian? Or do you trade an exotic pair like, say, British pound yen or New Zealand Kiwi against the Canadian? Or we can put something up there, and you could we can talk about it now and show you the rules. And that's what we do. We do this. Also, I get a chance to talk about the markets because we really don't get a chance in the United States anymore to talk about the markets without, somebody trying to stop you from talking about the markets. They're fighting the First Amendment. They hate the First Amendment right now. Euro. Okay, here you go. That's a good example because the euro has been in a weekly sell for a couple of weeks now, and it went into a daily sell with it. And that was just the one trade. Now it went into a buy here. You see this one here has the red and green, and this was plus. and we wait for the opening of the next bar. If it had just been green, this line would have been moved over to that, and that would have been the buy. But since it had both dots, we wait to the end of the day, and then wait and see how the night trading starts it off. Now you can see here we've been in a weekly sell. Now we went into a weekly buy one week here. You can see we went into the weekly buy here, and then there's a missing red line. Let's put a red line in there. Then we went into the sell. Is it right there? Is that the sell? Let's see. 0, 0. Nope, not there. Not there. Is it there? No, not there. Right there. There's your sell. So it goes back into the sell again, and it sells off the next day, and then we start to come into the buy again. So you don't want to be short, and then we get into a buy there. No, right there. We get into a buy there again because we're in a weekly buy, and that's okay. And you can see it takes it up again, the next day, or you already took your money and ran. It holds it in there. It makes a nice pop there, and then it goes into the sell off of this. And so what we do is we ask it to coordinate. Like in this case here, we went into the weekly buy right there, and then we went into a daily sell the next day. We had been in a weekly buy, daily buy, and then the thing moved into a weekly buy on there. I guess that was Friday. And so, I mean, you could carry it, you could buy it for over the weekend if you wanted to. And then what we did is we got a warning: don't be long. So you have to get out of it. That's where we makes us 8.5 out of 10. So there's a little loss there. And when you get a little loss in our work, you just keep on following the right signals, the same signals over and over again, and it makes your money always back. And here you go. We're in a weekly buy. The thing goes down for a bunch of days. We get into a buy here, and it makes all the money 3 times over what you gave up there. Is he going to learn the basics first, returning later again? Have a nice day. No problem at all. No problem at all. And that's how that works. All right, this is a real educational day, isn't it? This is cool. This is good. So, and that's important here, traders, because the markets move in like a sawtooth blade, up and down, but you can see there are times like when we went into the sell here on a weekly sell, it goes up, and our short term gives us the warning, and it goes into a sell, and it's a nice win. And then it's in a sell right here still, for what, 2, 3, 4 weeks now, and then it goes into a buy, and you can't take the buy. And then let's see, where's the sell? Right? Didn't I just put lines in there? What happened? I thought I just put a line in there. Yeah. And then we go into a sell here. And then, it's a win, and then it goes into a buy here 2 days later. And you get a daily buy, and then you can trade the upside. And then it starts to roll over very early in the week. And you get a sell signal here, and you got a sell signal there. And you can see, depending on how you trade, if you're trading option spreads or binary spreads, you have staying power more. If you're trading, hard delta or spot, you have to take your money and run. Sure. You know how I feel about that 47. I see that as the as like a very clear picture of the dollar action. There is dollar Swiss, and then let's go put it up on J4X at the same time. There it is, right there. And so what we got going on here is in Chicago Quant, it's been in a buy for, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 full weeks now. We're going on a 9th week in our work, our mathematics. And 9 weeks? Is it 1, 2? Maybe is that 1, 2? Let's see. 15th. Okay, yeah, so that's a buy there too. So it's 9 weeks, going on a 10th week. And then you can see here we went into a daily buy here. It was a nice ride up, and we couldn't take the sell there because we had the red and the green, so we had to wait for the next, trading evening in this case, and it closed above the close and kept on, opened up around the close and kept on lifting. So it's safe to be long still. That was a nice run. This thing's, we've been talking about that too. We find this to be very trendy. It really holds its trend very well. The dollar Swiss. It's become a very good, it's a very good indication of what the dollar is doing overall. But it's been a very good trending product. And so you can see here, we've gone into some weakness. I think that was a sell there. Where are we at on the fact check spreadsheet? So we are 1 day in a buy. Yeah, so it was in a sell. Not there. See, plot 1 is a plus. And plot 1 there is a plus. Then it goes into the sell here. Goes into a daily buy. You can't take the short because we're long. It's the weekly buy. It's in a weekly buy. So you can only take the long. And then here, on Friday, it gave you a buy signal. So you could be long. And it went from the close of 93 even basically to a high of 93.31. So it made 31 pips. How's that? That's pretty good, huh? All right. So this has been good. This has been an education day. I like that. This is, there's so many times when I talk to people, I say, run simulations, do simulations, before you put money into the marketplace. Figure out what your strategy is going to be. It's so important to be coherent in that fashion. And as 44 had said, about trying to get a general idea of how long to be in a trade, and can you say, okay, can I be there long it now for like the next 30 days and so forth? We're a little bit more dynamic than that, thank goodness. And so we can, we can, in this case here, if you're really trading that way, you're basically long 9 weeks, almost 10 weeks now, like 2.5 months. So, that's just the way it rolls. Oh, that's no problem, 47. We enjoy trading so much, and we enjoy the marketplace so much, and we understand it so much that we have no problem discussing it. So, all right, traders, that is about that. So we're going to get out of here. So this is Doc from North America, and remember, we're the singing trader. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. To all my cyber trading friends. Ta-ta for now, traders.